the second day where we've got a lower bracket action. TNC taking on Polaris. I'm Aries. Joining with me is the lovely Brightside. How are you doing today, my man? I should say it's morning for you though, so it's you've had a long day.
Well, morning, night. So I mean, I went to bed at 10 a.m. after casting yesterday. So this is like a light work at this point. Only 2 a.m. Come on.
Yeah, well, what's 2 a.m. compared to a 10 a.m.? You're chilling, like you said. You got the degen hours going, so it's the gamer hours. Let's be real.
10 seconds remaining.
These are the real gamer hours. It's real gamer hours for both these teams, though. Too lower bracket, so best of 3, loser is out. Winner moves on. Should be good.
Enchantress.
Winner moves on to a difficult series as well. TNC or Polaris, they will be facing the winner of SMG and T1. Of course, just a recap as well, in the upper bracket final right now is Boom and Talon. So one of those teams today will book a spot into the grand finals. But for these teams at the moment that we are having the pleasure to be able to watch, like you said, they only have one opportunity now. TNC, they were knocked down to the lower bracket by Talon, and for the lads on Polaris, SMG 2-0'd them. So both these teams have had some pretty decent form. I should say have found some victories is probably the better way to put it so far through the qualifiers, but these are definitely teams that have had a bit of a rocky past couple of weeks and even last tour. TNC being relegated out of Division 2, Polaris being relegated out of Division 1 as well.
It was not pretty for either of them, really, through the DPC, so seeing both of them have a little bit of life breathed into them in these qualifiers is very, very nice to see. Also, TNC just got the exact same. So they played Talon yesterday, and they took a game off of Talon, very surprisingly, and it was with this exact same opener, this Mars Enchantress opener.
Yeah, they're big fans of the Mars. It's something that they, honestly, in a lot of their games through the DPC, when they looked the best was when Chris was playing the Mars in the mid lane. So was very impressed with his performance, and we saw in their series versus Talon, game 2, it was banned out, and Talon even kind of block picked it in game 3 as well. So they started to put a lot of emphasis on trying to limit Krish. Of course, Bok can even play it in the off lane as well, so there is some flex coming out for TNC.
It was really bizarre because watching their first series as well, they didn't heavy prioritize that Mars versus in their first series against T1. So it's really interesting. Now that the Enigma and Dawnbreaker both get banned out here by Polaris, they kind of just are going back to the Mars, and Polaris give it to them. So they go for the first pick, Marcy. Is anybody surprised? I'm not surprised that Marcy's first picked. That is for sure. This hero is just taken over the scene pretty much.
Yeah, what a cool hero! What a cool hero!
What a great design! You know. Don't talk to me because I totally don't have like 150 Marcy games already. Okay. No.
Oh god.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
I respect it though. If something's broken, you kind of have to. You got to take advantage of it.
It's fun, man. It's just fun. You just bounce around, throw people back.
Radiant team pick.
It's a good time.
That's a good point. And you can the toolkit is very unique from Marcy, and I think that's the big thing on why we're seeing a lot of people play her in particular, and also the values, just the number values in regards to the skills are just a little bit too over tweaked at the moment. A lot of people, of course, look at the rebound with how much movement speed you get off of it, just even with one value level, it's crazy. But enough about the Marcy. Of course, it's an incredible hero for Polaris, but they're going to go for the Timber Saw in the 8th pick. Of course, the beautiful thing about going for the Timber in the 8th is that you can use those 3 bands to protect it. So Polaris, the Monkey King Ursa, and the Bat Rider being both banned out to try and enable Mr. Force on the offlane.
I really like this Timber Saw pick as well. It does very, very well into both Enchantress and Mars. Enchantress, I guess, with the Impetus kind of has a bit of some tools to kill the Timber Saw, but for the most part, the creeps don't matter. The Mars physical damage doesn't matter.
Team pick.
And what's really interesting is it's good. This is going to enable the Marcy to kind of leave the lane early and abuse that early gank potential.
Yeah, I think there's multiple ways you can look to play the Marcy in regard to like having like a really strong laner where, you know, we kind of see like the Viper, the Visage is, we do see it paired a lot in the lane, but it can be more towards the level 6. But like you mentioned as well, Marcy is very good at rotating to the safe lane, or even if you have kill threat mid, maybe securing some power runes. I do like the answer a lot from TNC. I'm under the assumption that Coddle is probably one of the best ways at the moment to deal with Timber, Bristle, probably Dawn, some other like really, really tanky heroes. If you put this as a position 2, you just go Spirit Vessel first item, and you do so much goddamn damage that they can't deal with, and they're going to force to go into a BKB, and really those heroes don't want to at the early stage.
And you get it so fast. You get it like 14 minutes or something ridiculous if you straight up rush that vessel. But it's not guaranteed to go mid. So Polaris, you have to be really careful on, you know, what cards you show here. And they're just going to go for a tried and true lane. I feel like Warlock CK is just a very stable, sustained lane. If this is Mars off lane, the CK has a great time. And there's really no great other offliners left that would dumpster the CK. So a really interesting response here.
I think you are definitely looking for your carry coming out for TNC at the 18th, because you want to keep the flex between the Mars and the Coddle as well. You already see the off lane and the safe lane from Polaris, so you are well aware of what heroes Asta has to be playing into. So is there anything that kind of stands out for you at the moment that maybe TNC can run as a carry?
I mean, that's a tough question, right? What can you pick here that is good versus CK and is fine versus Timbersaw? Maybe it's just some sort of illusion hero, like Luna, for example. You'd be like, oh yeah, you could pick Luna. It's really great into the Timbersaw here, but it's really bad versus CK.
Yep.
So it's a tough pick. I think you probably just want something that's going to abuse this early aggression from the Enchantress. So maybe it is Luna, but this is a hard pick here for TNC. I mean, they're going down to the wire.
Yeah. Okay, so
and they go.
I don't know. Jug's like an interesting hero right now. A lot of people, again, were expecting. Well, not expecting. He was played a lot after the recent patch, but the win rate continues to be an issue for the Juggernaut. You know, maybe looks good on paper, but it just feels like the play style and still how the hero shapes up in the games is just it isn't strong enough to kind of bring some games home.
Yeah, and I think people are kind of realizing that the big weakness to Jug is he doesn't really have that burst damage. He's very much so about the spin DPS with that shard, with the Mjolnir, or any sort of modifiers. And what's really nice, why I don't love the Jug here, is CK Timber very tanky, and Jug doesn't really kill those heroes. And then you also already have a spin cancel TP in the Golem from the Warlock.
I think maybe the one thing that we can look at with the Jug is you did mention maybe a carry that could look to play with the Enchantress aggression early on. And if this is going to be a Coddle mid as well, you're going to look to try and really open up the map. And I think the one nice thing about the Juggernaut is it can kind of get involved early with the healing ward in particular, and you can probably be that tower siege that you are requiring, because at the moment they don't have that capability. Because Jug later on, really strong at being able to do that. Maybe you can rely on the Enchantress as well, but maybe this is what they can look for TNC. Like Jug is a really sound laner, especially with the help of the Enchantress. He should be fine in that matchup. Then maybe he can get to the stage where he feels comfortable with trying to take down these early towers, and then that can really open up the map if it is going to be a Coddle mid.
And what TNC could be going for is just some more sustain as well, which is part of the Jug. You get that healing ward. They also have the heal from the Coddle, the heal from the Enchantress, and then the reduction from the Mars. So the damage from Polaris might not be enough to actually bring these TNC heroes down. And you can see they actually bound out the Wyvern as well. We don't know for sure that this is Coddle mid. TNC have the luxury here. They have the 24 pick, so they can kind of pick and choose whether they want this to be the mid Coddle
10
or the 4
seconds
Coddle,
remaining.
because they do have a very nice natural pairing with it in that
5
Mars.
seconds remaining.
I think you have to. This hero for Polaris probably has to be someone to start fights and someone that can gap close on the Coddle just in case it is going to be played mid. So I think the Void Spirit's probably one of the ones that stands out for the moment because, of course, Storm's mediocre at best and Ember and Puck have both been banned out.
Yeah, this Kunkka ban, I think, was hitting the money pretty much from TNC. But Polaris don't agree with that, so they're going to go... So that's going to be the mid Lina, pretty much guaranteed. What's really nice, though, about this Lina pick, it's not a fight starter, but it is kind of this late-game insurance. I don't want to say insurance, but it's an added damage element that Polaris solely very, very desperately needed. Because it seemed like they were very light on damage before this Lina pickup.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And they weren't 100% certain about how the lanes were going to shape up. Like, Coddle Mars was what you were probably imagining was going to be the case. So you get a hero that Lelouch is incredibly comfortable on. You are able to clear the side lanes, which is nice because I think that is a bit of an issue that Polaris have. You know, Marcy and Warlock, not the greatest. Maybe Warlock, when you get Ag Shard, can be a little bit easier. Marcy does have those difficulties with being able to clear the waves, though. So Lelouch playing with Boots of Travel, BKB is going to be really handy. And we do see the flex come out, though, from TNC. It will be Krish played on the Mars, so we got a position to Mars. And Bok is actually going to pick up this Underlord last pick. You were mentioning about the flex from TNC with this 24th. How do you like the Underlord being picked up here last for TNC?
Well, it's definitely probably the only hero that was left that deals with CK in just the game as a whole. CK does not enjoy playing into Firestorm or the Pit of Malice in fights, and then the Atrophy Aura as well is very annoying. So I really like this for Bok. I am a little worried about their early lane, though, on the Underlord. I feel like CK Warlock can put a lot of pressure early and abuse that sustain advantage that they have built into their heroes.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. That's going to be the question. How can you play off the back of the sustain? Because that's something you were mentioning earlier. That's going to be difficult for them to be able to deal with. But we do have our draft completed, set in stone with TNC going up against Polaris. Got a little bit of old chat, of course. These players are very familiar with each other. But, sir, how are you feeling about this game? Is there a side that you're a little bit more confident in to be able to take this game on?
When I'm just looking at the heroes matchups straight up, I feel like Polaris's lineup is just a little easier to execute. I don't necessarily like their lineup more, but it feels like they're going to have these two super beefy heroes, the CK and the Timber, and they can just line up at objectives with the Lina turret behind them, and it feels very easy to take fights. Whereas for TNC, it's all the pressure on Mars this game, right? There's really no other option. Coddle's not starting fights, Enshit doesn't really do it, Jug's not doing it. So it's a lot of pressure on Krish, it feels like.
The Young Gun, though, has, again, looked very good on the Mars, so...
Yeah, you were singing his praises earlier. This is his hero.
You can't let me down now. He's... Come on, Chris. Like you said, I'm saying his praises. I'm hyping this man up. I'm his own hype man, and what's he gonna do? Just do me dirty like that? Nah, Chris has to perform.
And he does have the tools around him, so it's gonna be really nice. So Chris, he can make the moves early. He has the Coddle to kind of enable him on the map, and then he also has the Enchantress, who loves early aggression and making early moves. So he has the supports around him to definitely make the moves happen.
It shouldn't be too mana dependent as well with the Coddle being played on Carlo.
Absolutely, yeah. It feels so... I think it's literally a complete refill at max. Mars very low base mana as just by nature.
Good force. Oh yes, a good old Timber. We'll see if they're gonna have the answers. Honestly, I wonder what Coddle's going to consider itemizing this game, because we were mentioning the position 2 Coddle has this potential to go Spirit Vessel, but I wonder now being played as a 4 if he still has the luxury to go into the Spirit Vessel or not.
I think you can still go for the Vessel. It's just going to be a strictly later timing is really what it boils down to. And it's going to be tough, because I feel like if the top lane doesn't go great for TNC, Carlo's not going to get that little extra space that you want your Coddle to get that early first item. So it's really important for TNC that they come out of this top lane at least in a draw.
Because you were mentioning before as well, the Marcy is a hero that's going to be able to rotate. Definitely not through the early levels. It's probably going to be level 4 and 5 that we're seeing a little bit more emphasis put from Xavier's to rotate. So do you feel like that TNC, can they just look to spam this lane out and never give Polaris an opportunity to set themselves up with a +1 for the Marcy?
It's tough, because I feel like it's so easy. You just CK stun with the Marcy TP behind. And the big detriment to Box Hero right now, in the lane at least, is that your Firestorm is pretty much counteracted by Chaos Strike. Just from an HP perspective. It's very difficult for Bach to run away. He's a 290 movement speed hero. So I feel like there's a lot of concerns about the Marcy rotation, like you're mentioning.
And we'll see. The main thing is, though, Xavier's, it's going to be able to bounce away. I think the main thing is, though, being able to get Force into the position where he feels comfortable to be able to solo. Early on, the Timbersaw is going to be a bit vulnerable. You mentioned the Impetus, the Blade Fury as well, just to be able to kind of deal a bunch of the damage, but he should never die in this lane unless it is a really, really big misplay. You're always going to be able to get the Timber Chain away, so he should be kind of cruising.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you get this level 3 even, I feel like you can't really die. And there's no spin, actually. He hit level 2.
Astar. I've been in a bit of trouble. Force hasn't leveled up anything just yet. Goes for the Whirling Death, but not going to continue the chase under the tower, so Astar will be able to reposition, and Mavis going to help out with an extra tango.
Really nice punish there. The spin was, 10-second CD still. That level 1 spin, 42-second CD. It is a brutal one early.
Yeah, even the 34 as well. It just feels like the hero with how you can play aggressive is very cooldown dependent. It's also your defensive capability, and Polaris did a really good job to be able to recognize this being on cooldown, but usually they're going to have to deal with a goddamn wild wing creep. At least Xavier can.
Why does the Tempest continue?
Oh.
When the creep... you see... why is that a thing?
Yeah.
It just gets... game is in beta. That's all I have. Game's still in beta. No complaints. No complaining.
Alright, sorry. No complaining. What a beautiful game we have of Dota 2. At least we don't have the Marcy and the Dawnbreaker. Honestly, I don't even care. Those heroes are incredibly fun to watch. So they can be in the game as long as they want in all the games that we get to cast. What's this mid lane shaping up though? We haven't kind of...
We didn't talk about it, but yeah, Lelouch is having a great time. He's up 6 CS. And I don't think either of them have farmed their small camp. So this is just raw CS in lane, I believe.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And you're playing the melee mid-hero into the Lina. It's just naturally going to be tough. Well, there's the first blood.
They might get Mavis too. Force is continuing to chase. Xavier's going to have enough mana to be able to jump over. And yeah, he gets it. Second point in the rebound. Xavier's gets the double kill.
This is such a tough lane for Jug, because he can never be aggressive, like you mentioned. It doesn't feel like he can ever use that Blade Fury to actually kill the Timbersaw. And the opposite is just not true. The aggression from Marcy, Xavius, just finding the right times.
Oh, look at Krisha. Hey, you rotated. He got the water rune, but yeah, he did get the water rune. TP back. They're going to look to even TP Mavis in to try and refill the bottle. So Krish will be up to full resources, but we're just seeing this Lina. A hero that is not popular at the moment, but is still an incredibly strong laner.
And part of the reason why the hero's not popular is because of all of the jump heroes, right? The Tinies, the Marcies. But TNC's lineup doesn't really have any of those, right? I mean, who's jumping the Lina? It's just Mars. So I feel like Lelouch has a lot of freedom for his hero in this game.
And you're a natural BKB builder as well, and kind of the best way to be able to counter the Mars is that BKB. So Krish is... even if they get one stun, I don't think they're able to burst Lelouch regardless.
Mavis found it. Mavis is being a little cheeky bugger over here.
It's like, I'll take the camp.
Found the small camp stack.
With all
it does leave Asta, though, all alone bottom. So Mavis has just, like, abandoned his Juggernaut. And this does not bode well for him. Force is already level 5. He's already on that. That's normally, like, that peak threshold you want on the Timbersaw, that level 3 reactive armor.
The issue is you've got the catapult wave as well. You can't play this lane, and you see, as soon as they see the catapult connecting, they're going to tank the tower, force them out of the lane, and get a kill as well. So a beautiful read from Polaris. They're forced to bring Carlo just to be able to deal with the creeps. We'll see how Dire are going to react to this if Force wants to continue tanking. They've already popped the glyph, so they will not be able to continue to keep the catapult alive in that regard.
The problem is, do they really kill the Timber? He's got the 18 reactive armor. I guess the nukes from Carlo doing a pretty good job dissuading Force.
Look at mid lane, they're doing the same thing though.
Bottom. Does that... AU is...
Gotta be cautious
he
though,
might
Krish.
be dead for it though.
Oh, yeah, he just gets... AU... Oh, Krish, he'll take a freebie if he can find it. Having a bit of a difficult reign. He's the lowest net worth out of the cores, so yeah, you're more than happy with getting whatever kill you can find. We do have 4 heroes disconnecting from Polaris, so a bit of a break in the action. An XD from Asta.
Look at that net worth discrepancy between Lelouch and Krish, by the way. That is not insignificant. 700 at 6 minutes?
Yeah, that's not what you're hoping for, is it? I mean,
that's not what you want to see.
What's wrong?
By the way, bottom, Asta's spinning it up. We got some Beyblade action. I don't think Force will be dying.
Beyblade. Oh.
Did you play Beyblade? You know, you'd go to this. It was like one of the hypest things. You'd have your friends and you just duke it out.
I think I did for a little bit.
And then you tried to be corny, and you'd all yell, "Let it rip" at the same time. Alright, I guess not. I guess I was alone.
I don't know. It sounds like you guys very much got into Beyblade. I don't know. We dabbled with it here and there.
Making me feel like well, that's why people like playing Jug. You know, that's my theory. All the people that like playing Jug loved Beyblade as a kid.
Brings them back to the childhood. That's what we all want.
Yeah, you're reliving your youth.
Well, we'll see if the Beyblade's going to be enough if we can beat Carlo. He's got his own little Beyblade, I suppose. In a way. Kinda.
Yeah, well, it's like a wannabe Beyblade, you know?
Yeah,
he's trying to copy the cool guy.
Well, he might be the cool guy though if he gets the kill. Especially if he wins.
I did just realize that all of Polaris was DC'd. It's just AU. Yeah, he's just a lone soldier right now.
Yeah, my guy's chilling. He's just he's getting the old chat going. Of course, a very experienced member in the Southeast Asian region is Mr. AU. Of course, we've seen him on the likes of TNC. You had some pretty good runs with that roster. Even checking, he played a... Did they
make the major with that roster? I'm trying to recall.
Yeah, the Epicenter Major in 2019. They placed 4th against VP.
What, did you just pull that out, or did you look it up? Be honest.
No, I looked it up, of course.
Okay, well, you could have fooled me. I thought I was going to be really impressed there for a second.
That's a bit too long. Wait, is it too long ago? Not really. I've actually... No, it's not that long.
Epicenter, dude, I can't remember the last time Epicenter did anything since they haven't... I mean, they're not part of the DPC.
Not anymore, no.
Not anymore.
Wait,
were they part of the first tour?
They were...
They were in charge of the Eastern Europe, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they're Epic now.
Okay.
So, yeah, but AU is, again, that really experienced person. He's been throughout the scene for such a goddamn long time. We see, when did he start? He had some stints on Fnatic as well. He started in 2015 with his first professional game.
It feels like every prominent Southeast Asian player has made the rounds. They've played on Fnatic, they've played on TNC, they almost seems like everybody kind of finds their way through those orgs.
Yeah, definitely at that stage as well, because they were the organizations. Fnatic, TNC, you had your competitors as well. Execration, the Clutch Gamers, a lot of other teams, and now you take a look, man, what a goddamn strong region. Jesus. Southeast Asia.
You see how Boom and Talent, Boom specifically in these qualifiers have just been, they're on a tour de force right now. No pun intended. There is a different force in this game, but without a doubt they are on a tear, and this is a lineup that, with the caliber of players, we kind of just see really all come together for them, and I just hope the form's able to continue into the major. Of course, no bias here, being a big C fan, but I'm sensing bias, though. You say no bias, but...
No, what do you mean, no bias? Hang on. Could be any bias coming out. These lads, there's some nice guys as well. And also the CEO, Mr. Gary. Everyone loves Gary. But there we go. We do have 4 or 5 members back from Polaris, so we get to continue to see how the Beyblade action is going to happen down bottom. We also have to kind of keep tabs on Xavier, so I don't think he should die. Carlo does have a chakra. He's going to want to
There's
jump.
no mana on Krish. Is it Krish or Krish? Krish, okay.
Yes.
That's much easier. I like that one more.
Yes, same. Let's see. What are they going to play with? They get the mana over. Chris trying to play with the bottle charges as well, but Xavius does have the loose to bounce off, and also the Beyblade action did stop down bottom as well, so you hate to see it. The childhood not going to continue on faster.
We haven't really talked about the top lane. It's just become a bit of a farm fiasco up there. Both Bach and Natsumi, neither of their heroes really kill each other at this point, so it's just a battle of who can acquire more last hits. And Bach actually goes for the full Vanguard first, so just doubling down on making sure that CK does not kill him.
Do you like this? I don't like this.
Why don't you like it?
You're gonna die to the magic damage? Don't you have big issues with Timber and Lena now?
Well, I kind of like it just because he's not interacting with those heroes right now. He's pretty much only, interacting with the CK. I guess, if the Timber or the Lena rotate top, he's in trouble, but for how he's playing right now, I think it makes a lot of sense.
So you feel like this is more an item just to enable his lane and then get him towards that next set of items?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like if he doesn't go this first kind of defensive item like the Vanguard, I feel like the CK plus one might be able to kill him. I say that questioningly because I'm not too sure, but I don't mind it. And he can also go in for the Crimson eventually later as well. Very nice against the Natsumi's illusions on that CK.
Dire's top tower.
So one thing I'm looking for on Polaris in regards to how they're going to look to play around with Force. Looks like at the moment they're content with not going to the Timbersaw, but I think you might have to... Oh, they're in sack. They're going to try and consider this top lane to be able to defend Natsumi. gonna try and charge on forward.
Bach, and now Bach has to be careful.
Yeah, now he's in trouble. They get the stun, toss, double stun from Xavius, but Bach's okay. He's, Rain Gun, alright. He's, maybe without the leaner. Timber was out of mana as well, so maybe a bit of an issue there, but this does free up a lot of the pressure. Asta can now go bottom and farm.
Yeah, this TP from Force feels really weird, doesn't it? He was going to get that bottom tower eventually, but now no pressure bottom. Asta is completely on his own down here. So it's all on Polaris. They got to find it.
They're going to jump in. Mavis. They should... Oh, nice. Look at the damage. Force just chains into the middle, blows up one. They almost get Carlo as well, who's trying to juke through the trees. Force doesn't have a lot of mana to play with for the moment. AU's even going to try and help out with the right clicks, but Carlo...
Oh, they found the stacks.
Okay. Oh, that's some juicy stacks.
They may have scouted these earlier. I'm not too sure, but this felt very calculated to put pressure on the top lane instead of going bottom. And that bonds plus Timbersaw damage, that you got to be real scared of that. Yeah, I think only level 2 bonds. It's not even maxed yet.
Yeah, just wait till it gets maxed and wait till the Timber also gets some more levels and maybe some items as well. It's going to be a big concern for TNC. Really kind of looking towards the BKBs, especially for the Mars, to be able to protect himself. The Underlord could consider it as well. I know it's something that we've kind of seen honestly rise in popularity. I think I really saw Ace do it first in Gaming Gladiators, the BKB into, you can go for like a little bit of a right click build with like a Basher or AC or whatever you feel is required in that game.
I think Amar was the one that popularized it as well. Okay. Maybe Ace did it as well, but him, I mean, Amar's the weird item builder specialist, right? He just plays carry from the off lane.
Yeah, Amar definitely has that capability.
BKB. But Force is just going to kind of sit up here. And this is really interesting because they're going to put Natsumi bottom. And so Polaris is kind of just farm. It feels like they're just strictly farming more than TNC right now. And that's where this 2k gold lead's coming from.
I do think it's a bit weird, though, that they haven't taken a tower. I think you would kind of expect the Timbersaw to be able to find an objective early, because his hero can just keep a creep wave alive for such a long time. Bottom lane, Natsumi is going to be in trouble for the moment, pretty close to the tier 1 tower, and AU tries to drop the rock, but the Omnislash comes out beforehand. Natsumi will be able to juke into the river, though. Xavius with the bonus movement speed gets the Chaos Knight out of harm's way, and now they're going to consider trying and bring down Asta, but a Blade Fury is still in the arsenal, so the Juggernaut will be able to TP out successfully.
Great counter engage there from AU. Just drops the rock. I think the Golem tanks up like half of that Omni Slash. Barely saves Natsumi. And that was kind of the part of the Underlord you kind of forget about. I feel like with that change. That global potential to come to movements. Really nice usage of that from TNC. They don't get any kills out of it, but it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to look to play with the Finn's Gate. I think it's an incredible ability, and I was really excited to see kind of what Eastern Europe were going to be able to do with this ultimate, because in Tour 1, before the Finn's Gate was changed, they were pretty big fans of the Underlord, and then we didn't see them in Tour 2, and I was just intrigued to see like if they were adapting to the change and if they felt like the Underlord was valuable or not. But the hero seems like people aren't putting as much value or importance on him as what maybe I think is due.
Dire's courier has been killed.
The hero just at times feels a bit clumsy.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Where you aren't very mobile, so all you really have is that ultimate. And outside of that, you're kind of just farming. The hero doesn't do much else until you have some more items.
Structures are fortified.
And you were talking about towers, by the way. The Timber was not the one to get the tower. Lelouch actually claims that in the mid lane.
Tower has fallen.
So, and this is what's really nice from what Polaris is doing. They're kind of just pulling TNC across multiple lanes, forcing multiple towers. Because they have Force kind of doing his thing top, pressuring top. Lelouch was pressuring mid. And at the same time, Natsumi, you need to deal with the CK bottom. So where does TNC go?
Yeah, it's... I think for them, you're waiting till this Blink Dagger is completed on Krish. He needs just a couple hundred gold until he will have this item. And then you're going to have this secure way to be able to initiate fights, but... where's the damage going to come through in the middle of that as well? You're looking maybe at the blast from the Cuddle. Mavis has only got 1 point in the impetus, so it's not like he's going to be doing too much damage. And we already saw what the Rock could do last engagement with the counter initiation, so I feel like it's going to be still difficult.
And you talk about that engagement, but Lelouch has a fresh BKB, so he's already practically unkillable, it feels like.
That wasn't too bright.
Yeah, Mavis is not unkillable.
No, this is not at all. 880 health. The Laguna Blade instantly cuts through a majority of that. It's, not too fun of a game to play for the Enchantress. Top lane was trying to put some pressure onto Krish, but a poke over to the tree line to the TPR.
And Force is, it's really interesting, because he's kind of recognized that because of the Coddle, it's a bit tough to force these early tier 1s, right? But he's just playing the super scary area and staying very farmed. Because what's nice about the Timbersaw this game is he scales phenomenally into the cores of TNC.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's just a concern if they're able to bring him down kind of before he gets those defensive items and the levels on the Timber. And he's already got the one in the hood. Lotus Orb's going to be the next item as well. But we'll see TNC look to get aggressive though.
This is the Blink reveal. This is a must-win engagement, it feels like, for TNC.
They're ready for it. Look at Polaris with their positioning. Got the ward on the high ground.
Not the hero you want. You can't go on the Timber.
They go on bottom. They get the root from Bok. They see Natsumi a little bit too far out. They're going to start to TP down from Polaris, but this time he's not close enough to the tier 1 tower, and AU will not consider moving in with the Rock. They're getting ready, anticipating them to go back through the gate, and they're going to all at once. Wait, hang on. They already make it. What just happened? Asta's by himself. He's got the blade through to play with, and actually Carlo nearby to be able to push them away, but the rest of Radiant starting to connect now. Carlo, he will forward the spell damage. Such a weird sequence.
Oh my god. Some clowny stuff. But that was a sick movement with that Fiend's Gate. I don't think anybody in the lobby was expecting that, specifically Natsumi. He was like, he was so confused. He was like, there's 4 heroes here.
God. I'm like, hang on, where are they going? I didn't even look at bot. I see the Fiend's Gate going out. I'm looking at Polaris as well. This is something I was not expecting, but they're trying to bring down Roshan. This is an incredible read for them, recognizing all the ultimates are on cooldown for TNC.
No arena for 20 seconds. And they still have that golem. They did not expend it down bottom. Aegis to Natsumi. So they give it to the CK instead of the Lina. It's a bit odd to not give it to, I feel like, your Lina, generally speaking. So why would you give it to CK in this game? Maybe they just feel like he's more at risk because he doesn't have the BKB yet.
Bottom lane quickly. They will get the kill. Oops, Krish. Very unconventional miss coming out from the sphere. So we'll cost them that kill. They are retreating under the ward. Force doesn't have anyone else.
Trying to cut them off.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Back on your talk about the Aegis, I wonder if they just feel like Natsumi... I was going to say, he doesn't have BKB, so if a fight breaks out, but you don't have to force a fight. You can just farm the BKB, then you're going to look to jump. Also, are they ever really going to catch Lelouch? Like, they only have the Mars. The follow-up is going to be very minimal.
Yeah.
Like, the Underlord can't really close the distance. The Jug can't really close the distance. Like, you don't want to Blade Fury in, so maybe they just feel like even if Lelouch gets jumped, like, they can either counter-initiate or she just won't be blown up.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just interesting because Natsumi, he's just going to kind of sit in he's allowed to sit in this top area by himself now because he has the Aegis. And so Lelouch can kind of be a little bit more active on the map. It's just a very interesting decision because I feel like a lot of times you would see it the reverse, but it's a very game or It's all right. Nobody saw it.
What happened?
Do not look at Lelouch.
Oh no, I'm not gonna look.
Something has happened.
Oh god.
Something has been accidentally used, and it is very golden.
Oh no, Lelouch, not like this. If they can get Bok, it might be worth it. Or a little bit more value. Xavius?
They're trying to go force.
Wait, Xavius? Alright, he's going to be able to cancel Bok from being able to get the feeds get out. He's trying to run back towards the area. They need the stuns to Lelouch. What can
Wait, Force is here!
Alright, they get the LSA. Oh my lord.
Force came in the other side! He was like, whoa, where's this go?
Well, pop out on the other side. Go back in now, see if I can get another kill. Pretty nice timing here with the Binding Light. It's going to hold back Force, so... They do get Mr. Bok. That's going to be his first death of the game. It's only 1,000 net worth lead at the moment. Like, Asta is this a hero that they have to be worried about on Polaris? Because Asta is getting a decent amount of farm.
I don't know how worried about Jug I am. I feel like you have pretty decent sustain. The Warlock, he has his shard completed. And you have a lot of units to tank Omni Slash this game. You'll have CK illusions, you'll have Golem, and then most importantly, you'll have the CK, who, without any bonus armor, sitting at 19 armor, 2k HP. So for now, I'm not too worried. It is, though, important. Carlo completed that vessel. They're gonna look to make use of it.
He's gonna get blown up. Look at the damage coming through from Force. Chris gonna look to jump in, but Natsumi protected with the BKB is gonna turn to try and deal with Carlo. Once they get the Keeper of the Light, they can deal with the rest of the components onto TNC, as they have no answers to Polaris' lineup, as they are just running a ramp towards the high ground. They go a jump into the Laguna Blade. Another hero will be cut down with ease, as Polaris lose absolutely no one throughout that skirmish.
Bok is just not the tanky hero he thinks he is. This Timbersaw and CK just shredded him. He didn't get to do anything in that fight. And his team was too far away to save him. It looked like they wanted to bait him, but they weren't expecting him to die that quickly. There's great recognition from Polaris. And we saw in that fight, right? The Omni Slash came out, and I think the Golem tanked almost the entire Omni Slash. So Jug's damage just does not feel super relevant. He needs a lot more time.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's kind of funny as well. We see the tips going back and forth. Natsumi, an old teammate of Bok, back on Team Ardroy. Of course, Mac and now Lelouch as well as some old teammates as well. So we're going to see them try and jump Force to the triangle. Hasn't been able to activate the hood, and they're actually going to get the kill. Alright, nicely done on TNC. Finally able to catch a break.
Haste.
Nice find there. Force just thought he was invincible, I think. Oh, the spear.
I hyped him up too much.
Hyped him up. He's feeling the pressure.
God damn it, Chris. Not like this.
Right? Yeah, I think he's feeling it.
Well, what is this now for them? Jug, is this Ag Shard completed for Mr. Asta? Yep, looks like that's going to be the case. So what are we maybe looking for as the next big item timing here for TNC to be able to combat Polaris? Because it does really feel like Dire is scary at the moment through the team fights.
Well, if you're looking at Asta's items, I think
thought top lane. Chris, they're going to get the jump. Polaris.
He is so dead.
That he is. Mr. Chris just a bit too far out. Ayu's also trying to catch Carlo. Xavier's going to be nearby to get the jump. Carlo's pretty goddamn speedy with the Keeper of Light, but Natsumi, he can close the distance with ease thanks to the Blink Dagger. So Polaris will find 2 easy pickoffs.
I'm not going to have time to talk about Asta's items. They're just going to keep killing people.
Paul's like, alright, I see Mavis, let's just run at someone.
This blink though on Natsumi, very nice, right? Polaris didn't really have that reliable way to start fights. And now they do.
Radiant's
Natsumi,
middle
I feel like he's
tower is
very
under
comfortable just jumping in
Radiant
and kind of
structures are
blowing up a hero at the start. And the question for TNC is, like, how do you survive? What tools are they getting to survive? I guess BKB soon on Bach.
Radiant's
BKB
top
completed
tower
on
is
Krish.
under
Is that
attack.
going to be
Are
enough?
scanning.
I don't think so, because I think you get the jump and you're not going to die through BKB, but you're just going to die afterwards.
Radiant's
and I don't
top
think you're going to get
tower
any
is
kills with these BKBs from TNC. So
Yeah, the problem with these BKBs on TNC is they feel like
Radiant are scanning.
they need them to survive, but they don't do enough damage. They need like damage items, but they can't afford to itemize for damage, so they're kind of lacking in that department.
I wonder if this
Where
just
they're
going to be able to catch up.
Oh wait, Asta? Okay, he's gonna TP.
Do you have a counter smoke though from TNC? Gonna wrap through the lane. Bok just completed the
They do not
BKB.
want Timbersaw.
Not at all. Force is not an easy kill, but Krish gonna make the attempt. Look at the rock! AU again with the counter initiation, but they actually bring Force down. So TNC chuck all their eggs in the basket to try and kill off the position 3 on Polaris, and they're able to do so. They're gonna be cautious though, because it does look like
There's a
Polaris are
DD.
considering stepping back in.
Double damage.
They use all of their BKBs on TNC, and there's still this DD on Lelouch.
Carlo.
Oh dear, Carlo.
What's the Carlo doing? What's the man's doing up here?
Trying to get a little cheeky kill on that mid wave. Xavius, he is going to hunt. Oh, he's got the shard.
Alright, Lelouch. Omnisslash is out, but they need to be able to tank up. Not a lot of damage coming through from Massive. They need to respect Lelouch. Look at the DD!
Oh my.
Lelouch just tears apart the Juggernaut. They'll get a +1 for good measure. And Natsumi, he's not done just yet. They have the ward on the high ground, so they are well aware of where Bok is trying to path his way to escape, and they'll make sure that is not a possibility. Intercepting the Underlord as Polaris. Yes, you lose the Timbersaw at the start of the fight, but they make sure
Radiant's
they
middle
get
tower is
revenge.
under attack.
That DD rune, it had like 2 seconds left at the end of that fight, and Lelouch gets like 5 hits onto the Jug and pretty much instantly kills him. And just great recognition though from Polaris. It feels like they are very aware of how fights need to proceed. These BKBs on TNC, as long as they can kite them out and not die in their duration, it feels like Polaris aren't really scared after that.
And it's also just they're putting the Timber on the front. They're happy with, because you mentioned multiple times, TNC, they don't want to jump the Timber. Sure, you might actually get the kill, but it costs you ultimates, BKBs, and you can't fight afterwards. And Polaris are ready to counter initiate, whether that be from the rock, whether that be Natsumi jumps and kills the support on the backline. So you will take that trade any day of the week.
Yeah, and they have to it's going to get increasingly difficult to commit for these kills. Because as we mentioned earlier, their only way to start the fights is that arena spear. But now Xavius
Radiant's
actually
middle tower is
itemized
full.
for the shard. So the rebound shard, he spent the gold to buy it. I feel like most people would not do this. But it's actually going to enable him to throw his ally out of the arena, I believe.
Pretty sure you can dispose
Really?
out of the
Yeah.
arena as well, right?
You can, but it's like I think you have to have Aether plus maybe headband.
Okay.
It's a bit dicier in that one.
It's the good dude.
Mavis is dead again. Nothing new.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's had a tough game. He's been the punching bag this game.
CK's not a fun hero to play into as an Enchantress, and they're going to smoke up. Force of smoke does pop, but the simultaneous jump in. They go towards the Cuddles, and meanwhile Natsumi, he's targeting down Krish as well. A defensive arena gets him some distance, but Force is on the prowl. Gonna try and blink to the left and TP out. Krish will make it.
It's just so easy for Polaris. They just kind of jump in, and TNC, they need this like perfect initiation to take fights. As long as Polaris are constantly hunting on the aggressive, I'm not sure how TNC can really find these openings. And then you kind of start to question, like, what's the items that are going to bring TNC back into this game? I'm looking around, and it's just... nothing looks like it's going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case as well. Because it's not like the Juggernaut, it's even with the Lina. Like, you can't expect this hero to get 6-slotted before this. Like, this Roche is going to end the game. Especially with how these past fights have been looking. I don't think TNC can actually take a 5-on-5. You need to somehow split the map. It's not going to be easy. They do have decent supports actually to be able to do it. You know, Coddle, Enchantress with his creep, but you need to just somehow avoid Polaris, and I don't know if you can.
As bad as it sounds, it feels like they almost just have to kind of kill waves with Coddle and kind of just hope that Polaris overextend while going high ground here. And I do like this Asta. He's itemized for this fight. He spent his gold, buys up the Basher. It's not the ideal item. You probably would want Scotty, but it's just spend all your gold now while you can.
They do have a really good ward to play with. Well, they're about to lose that vision.
No longer.
But like it was a slither of an opportunity. Twitch with the DD. Maybe they could have got a quick and easy kill onto a support. Look to reset. Then that's a little bit of time wasted on the Aegis because you do kind of want the 5-man on Polaris. But that will not be the case.
And the question for Polaris is when do they want to high ground, right? Because they have this Aegis on the Lina. Lelouch, very safe. It's a very safe hero to hit high ground with, too. Super long range. So the question looks like they're probably just going to clean up their lanes first, and then look to high ground once they have all 3 lanes in.
This guy's got
Yeah, they're going to see Lina down here, but TNC cannot walk into this triangle, even though they see the Lina.
Seems like they're actually just looking to make it maybe safe for Asta. Try and find his farm. Probably needing the tier 3 neutral items as well, so hopefully the Ancients can drop some lucky ones.
They do have a higher chance.
Oh, they gotta get out.
That, but,
they gotta get out. Oh no. Don't stick around for too long, guys. Ooh, is he gonna Oh, they didn't get the vision. Oh.
Hey, you, by the way, look at his items. Holy.
What a baller.
He's almost got that full refresher orb on the Warlock. The double golem, double bonds as well.
Come on, sprites.
Coming out very soon.
Philosopher's Stone and being 2-1 and 12 is definitely going to be a nice way to get an early refresher. Somehow is on par with the Marcy's net worth. I would never expect that.
Now Lelouch, he's just gonna start poking away at this high ground. And the question is really going to be, how does TNC prevent Delina from sieging like this? Can they stop him?
I don't know. Ice Storm's going to be a bit of an issue for Force, who's trying to flamethrower. They're going to go for a long wraparound. Warlock, he has to be the first one to die.
Middle tower is under attack.
They are all the way around. Asta is completely behind, actually.
He's going to get jumped. The Beekeeper is going to protect him for the moment. Look at the backline, though. AU, he's able to get the rock off. It might still come at a cost, though. Chris just forced to drop the arena. And TNC, they will be able to retreat back to the safety of their high ground. Meanwhile, they can't get away from Lelouch. The right click's just ripping apart the Enchantress. Meanwhile, Chris is being killed off towards the triangle. Polaris, even though you lose the Warlock, they are still in fighting shape to be able to take this skirmish and jump in. But look at the damage, man. Lelouch is just tearing them apart.
He has that Satanic in 5 seconds as well, so he can just lifesteal back to full here in a second. Should he choose to, of course. And Aegis for another minute as well. TNC used 2 buybacks, but are these buybacks going to do anything? Oh.
Scary time. There we go. Lelouch chilling for the moment. They even gave him the tome as well. That's like, why not get him to level 25 a little bit easier? Natsumi, you know the BKB's on cooldown for Bok. Meanwhile, Xavius gets another jump onto the support, and it's going to force TNC to react and break their formation, which means Polaris can get more kills to add to the tally. 24 now in this game. And it's looking like one more fight should just break this open. Well, not break it open, should in fact close this one. Natsumi. Oh, it's Asta. That's the kill they're waiting for. He's got a buyback, but... Oh, what's it gonna do?
Does the buyback do anything? No Omni Slash, yeah.
Forces?
And they kill Force?
Space.
Does not look like it. And it's, I mean, 33k gold lead at 33 minutes. That really tells the tale. As TNC, they've been thoroughly handled in this one.
A very impressive performance from Polaris.
They're gonna stay in it. Buyback on the jug.
Top tower has fallen.
He does have the Omni Slash. Buys himself a smoke. Go ahead and try his best here.
Oh no, Asta, not like this.
Oh no.
There you go. As soon as he dies, he gets a voice line in, and the G's are dropped as well. Natsumi's even going to give him a tip for good measure, as Polaris just mopped the floor in this game one. Really did not look competitive at all.
It seemed like Polaris from the draft to the end of the game just had a great read on what TNC wanted to do. And I think their response picks were they just countered everything that TNC wanted to do. And I think specifically the Timbersaw pick and this last pick, Lena. I feel like the Lena pick really opened up their map. It gave them a lot of I can't speak, English is hard. It gave them a lot of openings on the map and different ways to play with that boot to travel and the early BKB as well.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to be considering if the last pick Underlord was the right play to make, because it really was going to be interesting to see how this Coddle would have shaped up to be able to deal with the Timber, because it felt like Force was just being such a nuisance on dragging multiple heroes to deal with the Timbersaw, whether that be bottom early on to try and defend the tower, then he moved to the safe lane to help protect her, and they couldn't just crack the Timber. So Polaris had free roam of the map, and we just saw kind of the difficulties with being able to start. It felt like it was a lineup that was difficult to execute in regards for TNC, with only having one hero to jump and no one else really to follow up as well. So it's going to be the question now. Like, do you go back and value the Mars? Chris, he had an okay game, nothing crazy. We've seen him play incredibly well on it. So do TNC, do they go back and value the Mars? Do you maybe go for a first pick that can maybe deal with the Timbersaw? Because if Polaris consider the 8th pick Timber again, then they're going to have some big issues.
And you also have to keep in mind, most likely the TNC had second pick in this game. I'd say most teams, with the current draft format, it feels like when you have second pick and you lose that game, then you're drafting with first pick at a disadvantage. I think most people would say first pick is harder to draft with right now. So it feels like Polaris, they're going to have second pick next game most likely. And it's just going to make the draft so much easier for them.
Yeah, without a doubt. So Polaris, in our first series off the night, off to a flying start, they're going to be able to take game one over TNC with a score count of 5-28. But the question is, can they continue with this momentum into game two? We'll find out after the break.
Never goes in the sun, never goes in the sun, never goes in the sun. This could be the end of the world as we know it. Oh, this could be the end of the world as we know it. We never thought we'd get this far.
Polaris
Team
taking on TNC. Bright side, we saw it was a difficult game one showing for TNC, but we have seen them, though, have some success recently. We both had the opportunity to cast different series yesterday of TNC. We saw them have some very good performances. What do they need to go back to be able to have that recipe for success?
Well, that's the $1,000,000 question. I bet if they knew, they would probably be winning more. But I think it definitely, all the games we saw yesterday, I think the big theme was that their draft seemed very cohesive and all kind of leaning towards the same page. I feel like, for example, I think the one really cool draft I saw was with the Chen TA Bloodseeker, and they were just like ready to end at 25 to 30 minutes. But in that last game, it didn't really feel like they were playing for a specific timing. There was no cohesive game plan, it seemed like. So curious to see how they change it up. They will not be getting their Enigma, nor are they getting their Dawnbreaker.
So Tiny was someone. Actually, I'm not sure if it was banned out.
Tiny was banned. Okay. So I believe it was Viper. It was either Viper or DP. It was one of those two. So, and TNC, they obviously leave them they obviously don't ban the Tiny because they want it for themselves here with that first pick. But that does leave the Marcy for Polaris if they want it. And we saw Xavius in that last game. He was kind of everywhere on that hero.
Yeah, I wonder if they consider going Marcy Timber again. Or if they feel like maybe they not having the 8th pick, they kind of would prefer to pick the Timber where they can then protect it with the 3 bans.
I think, I generally think picking a hero like Timber here in this 7 slot is a bit awkward.
10
I think remaining. Like if they wanted to pick like Razor here, I think it would make a lot more sense. It's very Razor, very flexible. It's a great lane with Marcy, and overall, just it's hard for TNC to just like deal with Razor as a hero right now.
Yeah, I think you can really only justify like the Timber 7th or like before the 8th pick for like Amar and Ice and maybe one more other player as well, like a real specialty Timber player.
Yeah, I mean, Amar, you can just 5-pick it pretty much. And they do go for that Razor. I feel like this Marcy Razor lane is, I don't know what beats it really, if we're being honest.
It's a pretty strong lane setup. Got some flex. But we're honestly, Razor, I feel like 95% of the time is being played off lane, but still you kind of do have to mention that the flex is a potential, but it's a really, really strong lane setup from Polaris. And the thing about this as well is that they have the 2nd pick, so they're going to have the 18th and the 24th, which means that they have 2 answer picks, and often that is a great way to be able to set up for you to have strong lanes. So they've already got one covered with the Marcy Razor.
Yeah, and that's why this Marcy Razor 6-7 is so powerful, right? If this was to be their lane, I feel like you're completely fine. But then you couple that with that added flexibility of the Razor. You said not many teams run it. Flex the Razor. I've seen it mid a couple of times. But yeah, like you said, that flexibility. And TNC, they go for the Warlock. But so when you're drafting with first pick, this 8 pick, where they pick the Warlock is like, it's your most powerful pick. But they used it on a Warlock?
Yeah, I'm under the assumption as well, kind of is what it's sounding like with you, that 8th pick, that's your strongest pick, you got to go for something else. It really has to be a core that you're looking to protect with the bans, and it doesn't feel like the Warlock is that. Maybe it does look like at the moment they're going to try and kind of help out the Tiny Batrider banned out, which can be a bit annoying if it is going to be the Tiny played in the mid lane.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, at the same time, you do have that flex capability for the Tiny. It could go mid, it could go 4. Hell, we've even seen it gone 5 in these qualifiers.
Let's stick away from Tiny 5. I don't know about that one.
I did see it win.
Oh, God, all right,
haters, where are you at? Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. I saw Tiny 5 like a month and a bit ago as well, and I'm like, yeah, no, we'll stick away from that. But I saw it. I think in that game it lost, but in your game if it won, then all right, maybe they can pull it out.
Dire team ban.
So part of this Warlock pick, it is, I guess, part of the reasoning maybe is they wanted to deny pick it, because I do think Polaris would have taken it 15 there, and you don't. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. You don't necessarily want to ban it. So they just decide to pick it instead, which, I mean, you can kind of see the reasoning. I don't agree with it, but they clearly feel differently.
I think the one nice thing with the Warlock is that it just secures some team fight. They kind of had issues with their team fight in last game, and it's going to be nice to be able to counter-initiate away from the Razor. Like if you use the Rock as that aspect, Razor's got BKB, he's just going to look to charge a hero down. You use Rock, you disjoint the static link, you reset from BKB, and you go back in. Like you do have that capability to play around it, but I think more it is also just looking at they really couldn't take team fights last game, so they're just trying to secure that team fighting hero early.
Yeah, and the Tiny Warlock is just such. It is a brutal combo, right? You get the bonds on a couple heroes, and then you toss somebody that's afflicted by it. That's a lot. It's a lot of damage in a fight. On top of that, on top of that chaotic offering, I almost forgot what it's called. It's got a weird name.
Yeah, no one calls it
Golem normally. You just call it Golem. Yeah,
Golem, Rock. Big ulti, no one calls it chaotic offering. To lose a name. Come up with something better on it. Well, it's better than Doom's ultimate. So anyway, they've got worse things to be worrying about.
They did really get outside the box with that one. That is true.
Yeah. And Morph's ultimate as well, being called Morph. Yeah, they've done some crazy things. And look at this. That's another incredibly strong laning support here with Enchantress being picked up for another game. And this is... I really like the draft so far from Polaris. We just see the emphasis they have on lanes.
Yeah, already just 3
10 seconds remaining.
Exceedingly strong laners. And what's great about this Enchantress is... If this was TNC's support duo, the Tiny Warlock, neither of them do anything to Enchantress, specifically in the early to mid game. Eventually, maybe you can Tiny combo the Enchantress and kill her, but it does make you feel like this Tiny might need to go 4. Maybe not anymore with this Timbersaw pick.
Isn't it kind of nicer to have a Tiny 4 just because you can, like, Tiny's not the greatest laner and Timber doesn't need a hero to kind of play the lane?
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm almost changing my mind immediately after the Timber. We saw it last game. Pretty much, it just flipped. Why the Timbersaw versus the Enchantress. And what's specifically nice about this Timber here is that a lot of the anti-Timber heroes are already banned. Bloodseeker's out, Batrider's out, Viper's out, Zeus is out. So Polaris won't have a lot of great options at their disposal.
They do have a couple, though, that they can kind of play into. You still, in regards to carries, like Ursa Monkey, if you're looking for a way to be able to deal with him in the lane, and also they're very good in the game as well. You can even flex the Razor. Like this, you will have some control issues for the Timber, but Razor's going to have a good lane, and maybe that's all you're wanting against the Timber, someone who won't be shoved out.
5 seconds remaining.
That's generally, I think, what feels the best in the game, right? Is if you have a hero that makes it so Timber doesn't just auto take your tower.
Who's a call? What's going on?
Rubik. Is that mid Marcy? Perhaps?
Yeah. Mid or off lane. See.
Radiant team ban.
I mean, it could be. I mean, it could just be mid Rubik, right? It's a very nice Rubik game.
There are some pretty
When you
dope
look at
abilities to
when you look at
steal.
the spells.
I don't know, man.
What's-
Do you want to play a mid Rubik though?
You don't seem sold. You don't seem sold.
So, okay.
Well, are you asking me as an analyst or as a personal opinion? Because I personally love playing mid Rubik.
All right, well then maybe not. Maybe not a personal opinion. I think my concern for me is that Polaris are one game up in a really important series, and I don't know if you have the luxury of being able to experiment with
10
going for a mid
seconds
Rubik.
remaining.
Like these are important qualifiers, especially for a team that's newly
5
formed.
seconds
Forces
remaining
back.
to
You've got
team
AU
back.
coming through from the coach. You've got some really difficult teams to continue to face. You want to make this deep run in the lower bracket, and going for a mid Rubik, I don't know. Even if it looks like it's a stellar game.
Radiant team pick.
I do agree. And they are just going to pick up the coddle here for